Alright, this is my part 2 of pagan tools. In my previous, I did mainly about Wiccan tools, although a lot of them will be used in general pagan rituals. So now I go on to broomstick. Now, a broomstick is basically what you think it is. It's not for flying, it's for sweeping. Apart from it's for sweeping negative energies, and it's basically out with the old, in with the new. That is basically how you explain the broom is used. Sometimes it can be used for dancing. It's very connected to it's connected to fertility mostly, and it's connected to men and women both. It's mainly a masculine symbol, but it's also connected to a lot of feminine parts. The cauldron, that's another, sometimes you use it for, brewing stuff, although it's better to use pots and pans, because a lot of cauldrons of today are basically antique. That is also the same with the fact that a lot will be used for burning. It's alright, for example, if you're using maybe a candle, or if there's a plate inside a plate, which is a little bit of burning incense, but a few, not a lot, a few you will use it and actually burn stuff in it, which can obviously ruin the cauldron itself. So I always find it's a bad idea to do that, because burnt stuff is really bad to get out. But yeah, that's something very important to know, is best not to burn stuff in a cauldron unless you really know what you're doing, or if you, Some will use jewellery, and jewellery, the main kind of jewellery I've seen is there's a horned helmet, and that's basically, a helmet with horns. Not devil horns, usually, but stag horns, deer horns, That kind of horns are mainly used in it. Another is, and this is something I've seen quite a lot lately, it's kind of like a crown, but with a pentacle on your forehead, exactly where your middle eye is when you put it on. I bought one of these myself, and one day I'll probably put it into a video. It's very nice looking. And I've also seen a lot of people just putting, tribal beads on them. This is mainly shamans I've seen do this, or shamans, or shamans, yeah. But it just depends on your pagan religion for your jewellery. Just like in mine, I'll use a pentacle helmet. Other people I've known to use, this is another one actually, a candle crown. Now, this can be used actually with electrical light now. Lights now, it's modernised a bit. But they would use the electrical lights or candles basically to light up the helmet. It's a very strange thing I've seen, and it's not very common anymore, but it is still used among Wiccans and a few pagans. Okay, so what else can I think of? Well, I'll actually start on techno-pagan. Now, these are only the mainstream things I've heard of. I can't tell you exactly every single thing that a techno-pagan uses, and I don't know if all techno-pagan uses them. It depends on the techno-pagan. But the main things I've seen are a wand. This can be actually just a normal wand. Some use normal ones, or in some very different cases, they will use what's actually what they use. What is it called? They use like a laser pointer. That's it. Yeah. They'll use a laser pointer, and they'll use that to cast their circles. Now, I've personally seen it as a bit eccentric. Now, this is just me talking, and I know I've always seen paganism as a bit eccentric on its own. I see nothing wrong with it being eccentric. It's just when I look at techno-paganism, I just think I just cannot help myself laughing at it. Sorry to any techno-pagans that see that, it's just, I do have to put my personal opinion in there sometimes. I do have to insult people the odd time too. Either that or there's no point having a personal opinion. There's also books of shadows that are kept on the internet or onto hard drives, floppy disks, memory sticks, the usual memory cards and all that. They're basically kept with them, and they can use it on the internet. But there's all sorts of ways that techno-pagans can do all this. These are just a few, yeah. Alright, so what else can I think of? Well, there's also deity symbols. Deity symbols are very important to a lot of people because what they do is they represent how you see your goddess or god, or gods and goddesses. I don't know if you believe in duality or monotheistic or any polytheistic, henotheistic. There's hundreds. Another I can think of now is a bell, and that's basically what it's used for cleansing. It's also, because of how loud it is and how it works, it alters the vibration of a ritual area, which is a very important thing usually. And it can be used to invoke the goddess, evoke positive energies. Some legends say it can halt storms, but its main things are for cleansing and for clearing negative energy. It's basically it's kind of like a broom in a way. Herbs and crystals are commonly used nearly in all pagan religion, because it's a very common thing to use herbs for healing, herbs for magic, herbs as representing things, like representing different goals. And it's a commonly used thing among us, and it's been used by nearly every pagan religion I could think of. I don't know about techno-paganism, or I don't know about, well, to be truthful, I don't know much if it's used in Asatru. Another I could think of is a staff. Staff is usually a substitute for a wand, and they usually used it in public rituals, or, they're not very common in private rituals, although they are used in private rituals, so don't get that wrong there. There's a mortar and pestle, or a mortar and pestle, and that's basically to grind up herbs and similar substances, really, for magical use. So obviously you can see the importance in that. Other things are, well, there's the crystal sphere, and that's used mostly for divination. Sometimes it's used for lunar magic, but it's mainly used for that. Now I'm going to go on to Asatru, tools. A drinking horn, which I talked about earlier in my other video, is very common. Every Asatru or Norse or heathen or Odinist, nearly all of them will have a drinking horn. This is basically usually like a cow's horn, and you would basically use that for oaths in blots or bloats, I don't know what that said, in stumbles or somewhere else. It's used to carry ale and mead, sometimes wine. It depends on how you use it. Now there's the halter bowl, or the offering bowl. I don't know if it said right, halter bowl or hot bowl. That's used in blocks, and it might be used in a few symbols, but it's basically just an offering bowl, and it's made of wood. You'd usually carve runes into the sides of it, but it's very commonly used among a lot of Odinists and Asatru and blah blah blah. Thor's hammer. Now this usually is maybe an actual hammer, or in, for example, prisons, they'll basically keep a symbol of the hammer. And this is just basically to keep their connection with the Norse gods the same. Some use, just a simple mallet, others use a sledgehammer. Depends on which one you want to use, really. But mostly they're kept as pendants too. Alright, this is my... I'm going to do a third video after this. So I say, I bid you farewell.